What's up, guys? Road to 10% body fat. What's up, guys? Ooh. Welcome back to the chat. Road to 10% body fat. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, anybody in the chat yet? Alrighty. Okie dokie, artichoke. Welcome to the chat, guys. I'm just putting a little poll up here. Bulk. Guys, if you're in the chat, whoever just came in, feel free to put down below. I am trying to figure out if people are trying to lean or bulk, kind of what their options are. Yo, yo, yo. Anyways, guys, road to 10% body fat. So far, we started at 300 pounds, and then we lost weight down to, right now we're about 230, 235. Let me know if we get enough people in the chat. I'll go over there and just weigh myself. Right. Again, guys, I am trying to get down to 10% body fat. I am currently at 15.5. And I've lost 80 pounds. So I've got some food over here. Abs aren't really in yet, but as you can see, we're getting there. Okie dokie. Let us get to the messages. Hopefully the messages are appropriate today. All right. We will see. Anyways. Okie dokie. Road to 10%. Hey, idiot. Hey, what's up? Hide. There we go. So in case you guys had a phone call come in. Yeah, so if you're trying to lean out, what are you currently trying to do? Tommaso, I've lost 80 pounds. So no matter which way you slice it, I've lost 80 pounds. I eat carbs every day, you know. Neil 1. Hey, what's up? Trying to bulk, trying to cut, trying to bulk, trying to cut. Hey guys, I feel you on the bulk. I bulked, and bulking was very, very good for me when I was younger. However, you got to remember, you got to understand what you're training for. Like if your goal is to play a sport and you need to put on size, that's different than if you're trying to like power lift or bodybuild. Like as a personal trainer who trains people, right? Hi, can you subscribe please? I may subscribe. Just so you know, if somebody comes into my channel and they just spam and say, can you subscribe? That's the worst way to get me to subscribe. I appreciate you asking. So, I'm fine. You're welcome to unsubscribe. I appreciate you that you subscribe. Again, if you go into my videos and you comment in my videos, I will respond to some of those and I will consider subscribing. But yeah, just because somebody subscribes to me doesn't mean I subscribe back. I don't play those dumb games. But I'm thankful that you're here. And yeah, so getting back to the subject, because I've lost 80 pounds, subscribed right now. That's cool. Like I said, if you go into my videos and you leave comments, you'll notice I've responded to over 2,000 people. And I do go through the week, and the people who comment the most on my videos and I respond to them, I do sometimes subscribe to their channels. But do I just do it like when I'm on stream? No. But that being said, I'm looking at the votes here. One person wants to get leaner and one person wants to bulk. When I was younger, I don't want to say just but this is the experience that I experienced when I bulked. Bulking and eating more food will definitely build muscle, but you will build more fat too. So if you're going to do a dirty bulk, you need to make sure you include cardio, right? I think 150 minutes of zone 2 cardio each week is bare minimum for anyone, whether you want to bulk or cut. Because when you bulk, you're eating a lot of food, but you're giving your body a lot of energy. And depending on if you're training with volume or intensity, and if you're trying to be performance-based, because some people don't want to get bigger. Some people just want to get stronger, but they want to be a certain body weight. So how that person eats for performance, for relative strength versus absolute strength, you know, in layman's terms, a strong man is not going to train like a marathon runner, right? Why does this say here, why are you here? Yeah, so if you just listen, if you listen, Neil, and you actually read what I typed, I actually put a description. So if you take the time to actually read the description, right, you can see. What I'm doing is I am getting down to 10% body fat, and this stream, if you just read, yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. So what am I doing right now? Kind of resting, right? And I'm eating a meal. This is a meal that I eat to stay lean. Look at that, it's loaded with rice. Carbs don't make you fat. Calorie deficits are good. You want to be in a calorie deficit to get leaner. You can still build muscle in a calorie deficit, depending on what phase you're in. So yeah, whether you're an athlete, you want to bulk, you want to cut, you got an ISSA certified master trainer here. I am 15.5% body fat right now at 232 this morning, 232, 6'3", and 15%. I think if I get down, when I get to 10% body fat, I think when I get down to 10% body fat, I don't know how much weight I will lose. My goal is not to just lose weight, it's to lose body fat. So we have a whole program. Go look at my streams. I stream my cardio. I do Taekwondo. I am black belt. Very good. Taekwondo is wonderful. You see, what the thing about martial arts does, yes, there's the mental discipline and all this. What martial arts does is it teaches you discipline, but from a lifting weight standpoint, it teaches you body control. Guys, do not underestimate, I tell you guys, do not underestimate the power of calisthenics and weightlifting mixed together, right? Do not it's like when you lift the weight, you know, it's almost like typing on a computer. So there's the home road keys where you put the hands on the home road keys, and then when you first learn to type, most people don't want to put their hands on the home road keys. They take their little fingers and they chicken peck and they chicken type. In the beginning, the chicken peckers are faster, but in the long run, the home road keys work. Learning to put tension on a muscle is what allows it to get a stimuli. And when you're trying to get lean and you're cutting calories, like I'm coming down to 10%, I'm 15.5 right now, got measured this morning. How you lift the weight and the effort that you put in goes a long way, sometimes more than just the amount of weight lifted. I see guys all the time who are lifting twice as much weight as me, twice as much weight, and I'm lifting half the amount of weight. But the way I'm lifting it, the tempo, the control, how I'm moving it, those details I didn't learn until I was like 10 years into training, right? Yeah, you should build strength, but I'm telling you, the mind-muscle connection is kind of misleading, but muscles grow from three things, right? According to the ISSA certificate and the Navy writing, you have mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress. So yeah, you can lift heavy and you can rip a muscle. You can rip the actin and myosin, right? You can go really high reps and get that burn, that metabolites, that metabolic stress. JMP, welcome back, JMP. Shout out to my new moderator. JMP, I am currently on the road to 10% body fat. So I am in a calorie deficit and I'm documenting it. And I decided to make a snack and I wanted to come on here live and say, hey guys, we're at 15.5. We're at 15.5 and we were 20% at the beginning of the year. So we've already lost 5%. So hopefully within the next 6 months, if not, I could get the 10% body fat faster, but I'm trying not to lose muscle. Yeah, do I look Do I look good for someone almost 40? See here, nothing crazy. Again, I don't have a tan, I'm not pumped up, and I don't have the best lighting. If I put a tan, pump up, and get under good lighting in a mirror and pose, I look a lot better than I do just on camera. Just so you know, this is just me in a natural habitat, that if you saw me on the side of the street and I was walking without a shirt, this is what I would look like. Not too bad for almost 40. All right, anyways, JMP, that is what I am doing. If you're curious about the recipe, let me know. But guys, it's turkey sausage and a homemade white rice curry that I make. Jasmine coconut curry, low fat, and thank you. Now, if you look at some of the food that I was posting on my last post, you'll notice that I put a thing of sausage. I went to the grocery store, and I'm always looking at nutrition labels. So it dawned on me, what if I kind of videotaped those nutrition labels and kind of showed you guys what I look at? And maybe, I don't know, do I have the pictures right here? I'm gonna go into the back of my green screen here. Forgive me, I don't want to show you the pictures of me in my underwear. By the way, shout out guys, here we go. You see our trajectory here. Jordan Peterson was a good picture of him. Anyways, Guys, if you're feeling sad, just remember there's a piece of your C6. That's what it looks like. All right. But no, I went to the grocery store and I did this video too, guys. This right here, this video, this is how I lost 80 pounds, right? So that live was healthy chicken curry and rice. That's my healthy chicken and curry rice. And I put the veggies and the fats in the sauce, just so you know. So my key is I use a clean carbohydrate, like a good rice or sweet potato, a lean meat that's got less fat. Then I take my calories from like my butter and my seasoning, and I put those calories, the fats, a little bit of butter or whatever the sauce is. I actually have a sauce over here. It's a butter chicken korma. It's only 45 calories for quarter of a cup. So I can take 45 calories worth of a really good sauce, good chicken. The thing is, you can't, when you use the rice and you use carbohydrates in your nutrition program, you have to watch out for the fats. The thing that gets people is mixing in the rice and the fats, the carbs and fats. That is what kills people. Well, now, here's me right here in the gym. You can see I was a little bit bloated. You see how I look leaner here than I do there? That's because the picture that I took, I had eaten a bunch of carbs and drank a bunch of water and salt, and I did not put the fiber and the spinach and stuff in my diet. And I'm telling you, when you eat a lot of rice and potato as your carbohydrate, you're gonna have glycogen, but in order to keep your body, let's just say clean, there's something the spinach and the potassium does to push the excess water. So I have noticed that when I include that, the spinach, the bananas, I do them in a form of a smoothie too. I do this smoothie, and next time I make one, I'll go live. And the smoothie, it drains, it's almost like it detoxifies me, and then I look leaner. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, are we trying to get lean or trying to bulk? 3 votes. The people who are voting bulk and the people who are voting lean, if you can do me a favor, who's ever in the chat, Neil1, thanks for expressing your KTA in kickboxing. Kickboxing's great. I do think if you are not doing strength and conditioning in addition to your kickboxing, if you add some strength and conditioning work as a separate workout from your kickboxing, I don't know, like when you're doing your kickboxing, you're working on skills and stuff, but if you were to add strength and conditioning and you're not doing it, you'll be amazed at how you will progress. Here's a side photo right there. Nothing crazy, but you can see I'm depleted here, but you can see how I'm wide in the shoulders. My whole look is I'm not a bodybuilder, okay? I'm not a bodybuilder, okay? Just so you guys know. I like the old school wide shoulders, V-taper look. So I go for more of an old school look, more like a Steve Reeves, if you will. And I'm natural. So I already told you guys, if I ever decide, I work at a gym and there's competitors that have tempted me to say, hey, you should try this, you should try this. I have not. If I ever did, I would tell you guys. And I'm pretty sure you would see a difference in my physique. You'd probably be like, damn, what you been doing? I mean, I look okay now. I'm not at my best. Like even right through here, you can see like here just a couple days ago, see how I'm more puffy in the face. This is what I tell you guys. Like see how I'm puffy in the face from the side? Just adding some fruits and veggies immediately will lean you out. But we went to the store earlier, and not that I look great, but yeah, I took a picture. See, I have no shame. See, this is me like in my underwear. You see how the abs are slowly coming in? You gotta take pictures and you gotta be able to look at yourself unbiased. You see how these lines are coming in right through here? The lines and the details? That has been 80 pounds dropped, okay? 80 pounds dropped. And as you can see, every little bit of a tan will make a difference. But anyways, going to the store, what did we do? That's great, proud of you, thank you. Guys, feel free to chat in the chat. This is baby spinach, very good, 10 ounces. A must must-have food. Blueberries. North Carolina locally grown blueberries. Why blueberries? Low calorie, high in fiber, antioxidant, purifies the blood. Keep your blood clean, run clean, high nutrient enriched blood and pump that blood into your muscles, and then those nutrient enriched blood, when it floods the muscle, will have an effect. But there needs to be nutrients in the blood, and we have a PB2 powder. Do you have to use PB2? No. But what PB2 powder does is it allows you to eat less calories. Guys, you gotta measure how much you're eating. Measure how much you're eating, stay in a deficit. You'll be surprised that if you put 4 tablespoons, which is 2 servings of this, you get probably half the amount of calories as using full peanut butter, and you still get the full flavor. So it's not about starving yourself, it's about whatever you're eating now to maintain your physique. You make certain choices that are calorically, how do we say, looking good. You make food choices that are calorically just better. It's like a budget. It's like, hey, I've got a budget of, let's say, $200 this week, okay? If you go over $200, you run out of money. You gotta start thinking about calories the same way, okay? It's like, if I eat this and it has a lot of calories, what can I do to reduce the calories and keep the flavor? If you start thinking like that, you will get leaner, faster, and without effort. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? ISSA certified master trainer, strength and conditioning coach, nutrition coach, ACFL in the Navy for almost a decade. As in, when I was in the Navy and people want to retire, they have to be measured and they have to get their body fat percentages, right? Well, they would come to me, I would measure them, get their body fat, and if they were out of standard, my job, my collateral duty was to get them in shape. So I would put them on FEP. We'd go over nutrition, we'd go over workouts, rest, stress, and I had about a 98% success rate, right? I don't think I had one person go through my FEP class and get kicked out of the Navy, ever. There was one who came in my class. They complained that I was too strict, and then I complained that they were a baby, so then they got removed. Because the thing is, sometimes in the Navy, it's a little bit different trying to stay in a deficit, because when you're deployed and you're in the military, you don't always have a lot of options of food. So if you do have a lot of options of food, I am telling you, it is so easy to get lean these days. It is so easy. You have meal prep services, you got Lean Body Habits here with your favorite coach and entrepreneur, Coach Chris, right? And you got people teaching you how to do it. It's very simple. It's very simple to lose body fat, but it's not easy to do. It is not a complex thought experiment. It is an experiment where if you want to get leaner, it's pretty simple. You got to put less food in. And I don't know how many times I literally did a post yesterday and somebody said, calories in versus calories out is not everything that matters when it comes to losing body fat. What? And I responded and I said, could you explain what else besides calories in and calories out could be affecting body fat? And I mean in terms of 99% of people, not the 1% who have a thyroid issue or they need more iodine because they have medical issues that don't allow their body to perform optimally, right? And it just blows my mind. This person responded saying that like calories in versus calories out. Have you ever measured your calories? For anyone who wants to get lean, have you ever measured your food? If you are watching this video and you are enjoying it and you didn't give me a thumbs up, what the hell is wrong with you? You are questioning your life choices. Now, this, again, I've lost 80 pounds. Terrible lighting. You're probably gonna look at this and be like, oh, he looks like doo-doo. I promise you I look better with good lighting with a tan. Anyways, check this out. Food scale. Food scale, your new best friend. Your new best friend in the gym is a food scale. Train, right? If you want that fitness model physique, you wanna be lean, right? I've lost 80 pounds. I am down to 15.5% body fat. and I cracked the code. And I am now gonna work myself down to 10% body fat on camera, right? It sucks, it's not easy, but I'll say this, it's better. Man, that's a good meal. That is a good meal. Woo, woo, JMP. Here's the thing, JMP, you just said something right there in that thing, in the chat. By the way, I'm trying to look like a fitness model. Am I getting close? There we go. I'm going for that fitness model look. Guys, I'm 40 years old and I'm natural. You see that? I used to be 300. We're making it happen, right? And again, if you think I don't look good, F you. I look amazing. Especially considering that like I'm scoliotic and I had surgery. I've been doing really good at this point to get down to 235 pounds at 15% body fat, and we will get to 10. And at 10%, if I really think, I think I cracked the code. Now, JMP, eating one meal a day is great for survival. However, I have found, okay, if you take the human body and it only eats one meal a day, it's gonna hold on to nutrition. And yeah, from a survival standpoint, that is very important. But here's what's crazy. You can train your body. You can ramp up the carbs slowly, and you can measure how much work you're doing, and based on the amount of work you're doing and the amount of carbs you ramp it up, you can actually get leaner eating in a calorie deficit, eating more frequently. Because remember, in order to build muscle, you have 5 opportunities a day, according to science, to build muscle. There's 5 cycles in a 24-hour period, essentially. You know how you have like circadian rhythm cycles when you sleep and stuff? You have similar cycles when it comes to anabolism. Right when you wake up, before you go to bed, before you work out, and after you work out, right? Those are kind of like, for me, the most important meals. Right when you wake up, put some nutrition in. If you want to fast, go for it. But if you're training and you're in a deficit, remember, you're trying to starve yourself slowly in order to get lean. There's no way around it. So if you're just trying to stay healthy and be healthy and fit, that's another thing. And trying to specifically pull body fat off the system is basically knowing the science to starve it off and try to feel good as you're cutting through your energy. But I find eating more frequent to work better for me if I control the amount of food that I eat. Fasting works great for health. You'll feel better, you get mental clarity, but I do not think fasting is very good for people who are physically active. I think it's better than what most people do when they eat, but what most people do when they eat is not the comparison that I want to go with. I want to go with what the science research says is most effective. And if you put protein 3 to 5 times a day in your system in smaller portions, but that's also if you're training. I mean, that's doing cardio and aerobic training 3 to 5 days a week, right? The goal is to always give your body some protein so it can maintain its muscle, stimulate it in the gym, and then aerobically be fit. Now, those are what you have to do. And I am not a big fan. When I lost my weight, I noticed when I started doing supersets and cardio and cutting calories, I would lose 5-6 pounds every couple days. I was burning through muscle like crazy. So what I found, I can lose weight really fast, but I lose a lot of muscle, right? So I have found that separating your cardio and your weights into separate sessions is probably best if you're in a fat burn phase. So instead of going in there and just killing the weights and doing high reps, I think the bodies typically look better when they control the weight in the gym, rest longer, more quality, and then focus on the calorie deficit and the aerobic capacity. Bill Gates sold 500,000 shares of Microsoft. Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are liquidating shares. You know what that means? It makes perfect sense. It means it's the end of the fourth quarter and they're getting ready to pull money out and reallocate in March. January, February, March, there's a dip and they're going to reallocate. So, yeah, I feel like my face is kind of blotchy here. Yeah, I feel like my face is kind of blotchy. Let's see here. I was outside earlier and I was trying to get a tan and I put some of this lotion on. What I've noticed is I look better, right? My physique seems to pop more when I'm hydrated. And when I stay hydrated, right? And I get a little bit of a tan, my muscles always tend to look a little bit better. Just something I've noticed, the human body in general, that's how it works. It's lighting and shading and all that. Eating 1 meal a day. I think 3 meals. JMP, just do this. If you wake up, drink a glass of water and go for a walk, right? Come back to the house, try to get everything going, and then, yeah, you'll feel better. Most people, if they do portion control, they eat more frequent, they feel better. Fasting is better than what most people do, but what most people do is not a good measuring stick, right? What most people do is not a good measuring stick. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Hey, how are you? That's great, that's great. Okie dokie. Artichokey. There we go. So, any other questions before I get on with my day? Or a lot of you guys may be in the, a lot of you guys might have just gotten off work and stuff. So if that's the case, road to 10% body fat. Road to 10% body fat. Yeah. You know what's crazy? You always look better when you're leaner. I swear I woke up this morning and I looked in the mirror and I was just like, Jesus. Man, I was depleted, decarbed. I did cardio last night. I woke up and I had steak. I do have soda sometimes. Oh yeah, so JMP, I'll tell you a trick. So, look, diet soda is probably not the best thing for you. However, if you're gonna drink a soda, go for the diet soda. This is what I teach my clients, the people that I train for a living, right? I'm picking up clients and training them. I also sell insurance for those of you who always like, well, don't you have an insurance? I do. I just like training people more than insurance. Because sometimes you sell insurance to people, that's cool, but training people makes a big difference on people's lives. I don't think people realize how a good trainer, when people pay for a trainer, they're getting in shape, but they're typically getting in shape for a reason. So you're typically that person. You train someone, you're in that person's network forever, right? Personal training and training people is a great networking tool. Great networking tool. So this is, yeah, JMP, that's great. And forgive me for those, I usually have my shirts on, but I am trying to get the 10% body fat. And somebody gave me this. I don't know what it is. It's called a B-Tan. So they said, hey, take some of this B-Tan, rub it on, all right? Wash your hands, let it sit, and then they said, as you're getting leaner, I'm telling you guys, you don't believe this, but when you get lean in the right lighting, it is crazy. It's kind of cool how your body starts to look, but you won't look the same without a pump. And a lot of people can't deal with that. A lot of people, like in the gym, they have to be big. They're like, I got to be big, man. I got to be swole. Well, that's cool. But if you're not in the gym just to lift a shit ton of weight like me, I'm not in the gym to lift a bunch of weight. I'm in the gym to sculpt my body. I am literally in the gym to sculpt my body that when someone sees me in person, they say, holy shit, this guy takes this stuff very seriously. He looks really good. He's lost 80 pounds. My character and how I look is part of my sales tactic. How's your cutting? How's my cutting? What's up, Jacob? It's not bad. We just got measured today. I am 15.5% body fat. 15.5 at 230 pounds at 6'3". I weigh more than Arnold Schwarzenegger weighed when he won his first Mr. Olympia. So, he weighed 210. But I am not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not by far. I trying to look like a fitness model. Lean fitness model. Partially because after I had my surgery and I got injured and all that, I came to the conclusion that I'm not going to be able to lift as heavy as I was always going to be. So, because I couldn't lift as heavy, I did lose a lot of size. But I also got in better shape. So, the older you get, if you love to train, what should I do at home if all I do is run for 8 hours at work? I don't believe you run for 8 hours at work. You may walk a lot, you may step a lot, and that's good to keep count of. It says we run 13 miles a day. I do not believe that. I do not believe that. Yeah, you and me probably have a different version of that. But yeah, yeah. I gotta hit 2,400. Yeah, but moving back and forth and working all day is not the same as working out. It's not. So, if you want to look better, you could do what you're doing. And if you're physically moving, you said, I can't walk. All right, let's get to someone who's actually posting something that makes sense, okay? Jacob, I have no idea what you're talking about. 5 points is fire, 95%, 5, I can't walk. I have no idea what you're talking about. You make no sense. You make absolutely no sense. I have no idea what you're talking about. 80% get lean. I've lost 80 pounds. I have no idea what you're talking about, Jacob. King Christian True. Okay, you snapped your toe. Here's the thing, man. That's not how it works, right? You got to think. I'm not the average idiot at your damn gym. I've trained 687 people in my life. Like, it's not as simple as what do I do? Like, I can tell you some ideas, but I'm not you, okay? When I train people, I don't train customized programs. Yeah, that's fine. I just don't know what you're saying, brother. Jacob, I appreciate it that you want me to give you advice, but you literally typed, what if I have to run 13 miles a day, but I can't walk and I'm 95 with 5 points? What the hell are you talking about, dude? Like, can you form a coherent sentence and type it so I can actually try to respond? Because it's like, I have no idea what the hell you're saying, dude. Have a good one, though. I've lost 80 pounds. I ate carbs every day, losing 80 pounds. All right. So, getting a calorie deficit. No, you apologize. I don't know what you're saying, brother. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. Anyways, next. Take care. Emma Taylor Meck. Hey, what's up? What is up, Emma? We are on the road to 10% body fat. Currently 15. Man, my dirty ass face. So, how are you? Yeah, I'm giving a live Q&A fit ISSA certified master trainer, right? So I am in the midst of cutting. Have you ever fasted? Yes, I have lots of experience fasting. All right, okay. So I have to pick 200 items in distribution in 20 minutes. If I hit 16 minutes, that's 100 mazines. I make more. And that's why I run, because of walk. I won't meet my goal. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jacob, but you told me earlier you ran 13 miles a day. 20 body fat? I just got measured. I failed today. Well, no, fasting. No, you didn't fail fasting. I got measured today at 15.5. At my peak, I was 35%. So I've lost 20% body fat, just for what it's worth. My job in the Navy was to get people to have a better BMI so they can get their pension. I've lost 20%. So this is kind of like where I'm coming from. Emma, 16% body fat? I mean, maybe you are, maybe you're not. I got measured at 15.5. Do I think that's right? I don't know. I look different depending on when I decide to eat carbs and salt. If I really want to get lean, I look different. So when we're getting down to 10% body fat, it's a lot of manipulation of nutrients. It's doing the cardio and it's still strength training. And yeah, and even like you can see right through here, I've still got some body fat to lose right here. But as you can see, like from my back, you see how my back is like a turtle shell, and I come through here and I have like the lats and everything. So I've got the my look that I go for is wide shoulders, right? I want those wide shoulders. I want that narrow waist. And I'm 6'3", so I'm more aesthetic focused versus pure bodybuilding or powerlifting. I have no desire to go back into strongman and powerlifting. I was 300 pounds at one point. I had a 700-pound deadlift. I get it. But as I get older, right, longevity is where it's at. I was just trying to see what I do at home because nah, you don't need to do shit. You need to eat more. See, Jacob, that's the thing. You need to eat more. You're not going to build a lot of muscle moving that much. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to eat more food if you want to build muscle with that type of schedule. What you're saying is just your logic. Think about it, dude. It doesn't make sense, Jacob. If you're moving 13, if you're running, if you're supposedly, I still don't believe you, just so you were frank. If you say I run 13 miles a day, right? That's cool. So you're having to move. So eat more. Ta-da! Why would you're tired, you're moving a lot. Why would you want to work out on top of what you're doing? It just makes it stupid. It makes no sense. It's like people have, I'm not calling you stupid. It's just, that's so dumb. Just think about it. Think about it. You're moving all day and you're sore and you want to build muscle. So you want to figure out, can I start working more? But you're already too tired. The amount of energy that you're expelling is too much compared to the energy that you're putting in your body. Calories in versus calories out. Stop listening to idiots online who tell you it's anything different than calories in versus calories out. It's not hormones. The issue is the fork going into the mouth and the fat people not understanding how to put the fork down. 687 people over 9 years, ACFL, I saw lots of people. Race, age, gender, culture, you name through it. I've trained a white person, a black person, an Indian, a male, a female, a transgender, someone who I thought was an alien, someone who was 7 foot. I've trained someone who was 91 years old. I've trained middle schoolers. I've been training people a long time. It's calories in versus calories out. If you think it's anything other than that, you're ignorant. Every now and then, it's stupid. No, okay, I misread. No, it doesn't matter, it's energy. It's energy. It's like, oh, should I now start eating more fish, chicken, and veggies? Maybe, but if, Jacob, if you're really running you're not running 13 miles a day. You're not. I used to run 9 miles a day when I was an ultra marathoning, and I did that for 16 weeks. I ran 5 miles in the morning and then 5 miles before bed for like 6 months training for a 100-mile race. So I have a very hard time believing that you are doing that as we speak, right? How do you get natural energy besides C4? That's a great question. Stop relying on caffeine. Let me teach you about caffeine. I don't take caffeine. Every now and then, I have a pre-workout that's a vasodilator that has a little bit, but I prefer things that increase my blood flow with vasodilation and not constricting my vessels, because the constriction, that caffeine constricts. So if you are going to the gym and you're so tired that you have to amp yourself up with caffeine, chances are your sleep, your recovery, your nutrition, and your hydration is out of whack. So fix those and only use caffeine sparingly. Use it only when you need that boost for a workout, and don't wake up and have to drink coffee and all this stuff. Hydrate and eat real food. Spend more money on lower fat, leaner meats, cleaner carbs, and that's how it is. It makes sense? Cool. What is this? Yeah. Try to get out of the C4s. Look, I get it. I have C4 packets that people give me, and I have a gym bag full of supplements, and I can tell you the older that I get, and especially if you've never cut and you've never leaned out, do it. Because when you lean out, you're pushing all these toxins out of your system, all this stuff that's been sitting in your adipose and your fat tissue. So once I actually started a diet, no, that's not how it works, Jacob. If you just start a diet and you don't take an account of everything else I just told you, right? Will you feel more motivated? I don't know. And you shouldn't be worried about being motivated. Motivation, Jacob, you all fucked up, bro. I love you to death, but I know it's tough. You going through something. You messed up right now, but it's all right, because I've been there too. You need to understand that the amount of work that you're doing, you need to put more energy into your body. Yes, you should probably focus on the chickens and the veggies and the rice, but if you're doing that much moving, I'm trying to grow up for real this time. I don't know what that means. This is what I will tell you. If you drink more water and in between your day, get you some bananas. Okay, let me tell you what you do. Get you some bananas. If it's within the budget, bananas, rice, and egg. That's it. It says if I hit 200% at work, yeah, that's cool. I get it. That means nothing to me. I know in your world that's important, and you're going to continue to do that, but that's the detail in your life that I don't care about. I care about you as an individual, but you having an agenda because you need to do that has no effect on me. So stop bringing that. If that's what you want to do, then go do that. But stop changing the subject for the sake of breakthrough, right? So if you won't, now if you're saying, hey, Coach Chris, if I hit 200% at work, I get 35 an hour. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, look, you see, this is what you don't understand who I am as a professional trainer. You don't come to a damn professional trainer and say, hey, how do I do this? Yes, live Q&A, but in order for you to get the most out of a cut or a bulk, brother, you better know what you're doing. Like, you gotta have some fucking information. And if not, hire a coach. Because I already did it without a coach. And I'm not going to tell you what you should be doing for free. Because that's what people hire me for. I will say this. If you're really running 13 miles a day, which you're not, but let's pretend in the fantasy world that you are, eat more. Eat more fuel so you can work harder. Eat less fuel to get leaner. Simple as that. You want to use, all right, hi. I have it on my thing, bro. Yep, then that's it. So, food to get is a rice cooker, an air fryer, big bag of rice, a protein of some source, or go to your local farmers and get eggs. Go get a lot of eggs. Eggs are great. Eggs, right, are going to change everything in your life if you're not eating whole eggs. You want carbohydrates to fill your glycogen, but there's certain fruits and veggies that also help you not stay so poofy. So it's all an act, from what you eat to how you train to when you do your cardio, especially if you're staying natural. And then we're not even talking about people who manipulate their hormones. I love it. Any difference? Yeah, huge difference. JMP, the water with lemon is going to supposedly alkaline the body. I don't believe that. I think lemon is just very good for us. And when we eat more lemon, lime, and pineapple, it's good for our nervous system. Coffee is acidic. It's a neurotoxin. It does nothing for you. It gives you caffeine and a headache. And most people that drink a lot of coffee, most of the time, if they are drinking it, they're drinking a lot of it, like a pot or two a day. I don't think that's healthy. When you wake up in the morning, a cold glass of water and a walk, if it's before the sun is up, a walk, and try to get movement and do some type of movement drill first thing in the morning. The first thing you want to do is put water and get stretching and moving your body. If you're not immediately hungry, you may be hungry 30 minutes after that, and then puts in a little bit of nutrition. Now you put in a little bit of nutrition. I'll show you what I like to do. This works really good. And this takes into account the fasting aspect and the nutrition aspect all into one. I like to start my day with a good smoothie. Now my smoothie has specific ingredients, right? But I like to hydrate before I eat. I like my body to hydrate. But I also know the quicker you get nutrients when you wake up, the better your body is going to adapt to training. So I try to put liquid nutrition and hydration into a smoothie first thing into the morning after I've woken up and stretched. And then I gauge my hunger from there. And then from that point, I'll gauge my hunger and move on and then do it like that. But my staples are very simple. My staples of food are berries, veggies, frozen bananas, whole grain breads, proteins, and over here, rice, spinach, curries. Very simple, right? This chicken sausage, this has a lot of salt in it. But you can counteract that by making sure you eat your fruits and veggies. Coffee hurts my insides and my stomach. Yeah, dude, I notice a lot of people don't like the coffee. Now, I've got stuff over here, right? We got like matcha tea and coffee mushroom and all this. I don't like the coffee. I don't eat a lot of stuff that a lot of people eat, guys. Because, okay, when I was younger, I got bit by a tick, right? When I was younger, a long time ago, I got bit by this tick and got rocky spotted mountain fever, right? Supposedly it's like Lyme disease. I got so sick that ever since then, I have paid very, very attention to what I put in my body. And I have a list of a few foods. I have a list of foods, like 10 or 15 foods. And as long as I eat those foods, it works out good for me. Now, is that true for everybody? No. Everybody's different. Everybody's got different preferences. Everybody has different goals. But if you shift, let's see how we look in this light here. See this? We're on our way to 15% body fat. You see how this is coming in? So we are currently, we're on our way to 10%. We're 15.5. You see? So right through here, you can see this right here. This is the next to go. But you see how these lines are coming in now? That wasn't here 4 months ago. So like from the side, right? And then you see my back. My back is where a lot of my muscle is. So I'm working really hard to get down to 10%. So that's kind of like, okay, look, if you're an athlete, you may not care about having a narrow waist. But me, I want to have a narrow waist aesthetically, but I also want it to be strong. So smoothies are a way to get high quality nutrition without overfilling the stomach, because you don't want to overfill the stomach too often because it begins to stretch. I really believe that. Although fasting has been shown to shrink the stomach. So I'm not against fasting, guys, but I think people fast for the wrong reasons. Fasting is not the best way to get lean. Fasting is the best way to detox or to jumpstart or to get mental clarity, but fasting is not as easy to do. It's not as easy to get lean fasting, if you understand the science, as it is eating in a calorie deficit with 3 to 5 feedings a day, especially if you're training. That's my opinion on that. Okay, trying to get lean, trying to bulk. Lean. So we have 10 people in here, and 10 people, 10 votes 53 minutes ago. 7 of you want to get leaner. So ask down below, what are you doing in the chat right now? What are you doing to try to get leaner? And shout out to Jacob Brock. He came in. I was kind of fighting with him there for a bit because I don't know what Jacob was saying. He's talking about some stuff. But just follow me, guys. When we go on these lives, look, if you want to get lean and this is the year to get lean, I am on my way back down to 10% body fat. I have not been 10% body fat in a long time. So you pretty much have someone to enjoy the suffering with, baby. Nah, personal trainer, Navy vet, and yeah, I'll kind of tell you what I'm doing. And again, I'm natural, right? I'm comfortable with my physique. I'm almost 40 years old, right? Am I the biggest and strongest? No. Am I the weakest? No. Am I the leanest? No. But I'm someone who's been training people for a long time and have a great passion for this. I love training people. Love training athletes, right? I was an athlete for a little bit, so I just enjoy training people. All right, Christian, controlling my eating habits and doing reps of sit-ups, keeping up my weight. Yeah, controlling eating habits, got to do that. But don't be too strict. King Christian, don't be too strict. Control your eating habits, but if I can give you one piece of advice, depending on your age, don't go too strict. You can eat more than you think if you are smarter with your choices. For example, I have done this, and I even did this last week. It's very easy to cut your calories too low. So think about it like this. Think about it like Greg Plitt used to say, the lawnmower approach. The lawnmower approach is like this. Do you keep your lawnmower filled with gas? Maybe. But what people typically do is they use their lawnmower and then they store it. And then they use it and they put it back up. So kind of think about the food that you're doing is eat food based upon the activity that you're going to do. So if you're going to go lift weights, then make sure you have some glycogen. If you're going to do cardio, maybe you don't need to have as much glycogen. You can put on a hoodie if you feel skinny, because when you get flat, when you don't have glycogen, you feel flat, and you can do some steady pace, you know? So look at the video I did the other day, 2 days ago, King Christian. I went to the store and I took my camera and I videotaped myself holding up a normal sausage and a chicken sausage. And the difference between one link was a difference of like 100 calories, 90 calories, so 3 of them. So if you eat 3 of those times 90 calorie difference, that's 200, that's half a pound of fat. And I eat one of those whole packs in a day easily. It's only like 80, 90 grams of protein. Because me, I try to get at least 200 grams of protein a day. That's what I do. I'm 230 pounds, but I still eat carbs. I'm 15% body fat. If I want to get leaner, okay, I don't just need to up my protein. What I do is I eat the same amount of food and I increase my aerobic capacity. I try to increase my output and increase the food that goes in, so then my body becomes better and more efficient at burning body fat. So now if you're always putting food in, there's no energy to pull from in your body. So it's like you put in nutrients and then you put in energy. So this is where it's macronutrient profile. Proteins, fats, and carbs. Depending on whether you're bulking or cutting and how you have your calories and everything distributed, there's different eating habits. But what I have found mathematically, and I use math to do this, okay? For me, 4 calories and 1 gram of protein. 4 calories and 1 gram of carb. 9 calories and 1 gram of fat. So if you're trying to get leaner, mathematically, you can eat twice as many carbs as fats and still be in a 10% deficit, give or take. It's pretty crazy. Yep. How do you have more energy? Sunlight. Get more sunlight, do more aerobic activity, put food in your body. And if you're gonna eat a lot of rice and stuff and sweet potatoes like I do, I eat a lot of rice right now in order to try to stay lean, right? I have spinach and blueberries and frozen bananas that I put in my morning and evening smoothies. And I keep that in to keep my body kind of flushed. Because if you eat too much rice, dirty rice, right? You can start to, if you put too many carbohydrates in general, you can overspill. So the spinach, the blueberries, the raspberries, that helps kind of like push that excess water out of the body. You look better, and it also helps with anti-inflammatory properties, right? When you eat a bunch of carbs and you stay swollen up, it can put a lot of stress on your joints. So, but even like right through here, it's kind of cool because my body's gotten smaller. What rice do you eat? Great question. I like jasmine rice. I typically use white rice. I'm not a big fan of brown rice, and I can tell you why. Brown rice, nobody really eats brown rice in China or Japan. They do, but most of them eat white rice. And when I lived in Japan for 3 years. So what I discovered is most of the people in Japan eat white rice because the brown rice, that little outer layer on the rice, it needs to be taken off to absorb. So, yeah. Again, I just use rice to fill up my glycogen. I want rice to give me a sugar to fill up my glycogen, right? For Thai rice, 3 ladies. There's 3 ladies is a good rice. And at the end of the day, if you just get chicken with some seasoning, some low-calorie curry seasoning, and you eat chicken and rice, and you eat a vegetable smoothie, boy. Yeah, brown rice is weird. Never liked it. Don't like it. Interestingly enough, most people can't digest the outer layer of the brown rice. Now, as far as fiber goes, brown rice on paper is the better carb. But in practicality and in practice, it don't work as good. It don't work as good. It's like, same concept as caffeine. You want your best looking physique? Get used to not having to rely on caffeine. Keep your body training in a state to where you're training hard and you're also recovering. You're training hard, you're also recovering. You're training hard, you're also recovering. Yeah. Anyways, I believe that now I put some of this stuff on my hands to try to tan up a bit. I have never used a self-tanner before, but somebody gave me this one and said, hey, put this on. And within the last hour, I can tell a difference from doing nothing but having a little bit darker layer. It's insane. It doesn't make sense why that should work, but it does. Okie dokie, artichoke. All right, so for me, don't have all these unrealistic expectations too, guys. How you look in the gym, how you look in a photo shoot, how you look 24/7, how you look with your decarb, you're always gonna look a certain way. But if you're an everyday person and like I am, and you just wanted to lose weight, I lost 80 pounds by doing common sense choices. And yeah, I did train, and I'm pretty happy so far. Like I'm not, like you see right through here, what I'm trying to do is, you see that physique from the side? You see how I have like the chest, the shoulders pop, and it kind of floats over. I want that lat to come over, right? So I'm really going for that fitness model look. Even the stuff here, a lot of that is only going to come out once I get a little bit leaner. You see this? All of this, I got to get rid of that. Anyways, that's the power of lighting. You see how just that one little pose right through there from the side, like in my back right through here, you see that? This one's not as good right through here. So I really need to train my left one more. Anyways, from the side, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm doing. For those of you who think I'm conceited, that's what I like to do, man. I'm not someone who is not going to give it my all when I do something, right? But I can tell you, I've learned a lot coming down from 300 pounds. Let's see, scrambled egg for breakfast, lunch, banana or something, veg soup, and chicken breast with veggies. I think that's all right. I think depending on your physical activity, I would add an apple or a piece of whole grain toast to your breakfast, right? Or whole grain toast with a slight bit of avocado with the egg, put up the calories a little bit more in breakfast. That's fine, depending on if you're training or doing physical activity. Breakfast and, see, for lunch, I would still add, each one of those meals, I would add a little bit of carb to it. I don't know why you're going so low carb. Unless you're physically not active. But I find if you're physically active, I would plug in some carbs. I mean, carbs are only 4 calories per gram. So, but also the main thing is, how do you feel? Do you feel good? Are you sure you feel good? Do you know what it's like to feel good? Most people forget what it's like to feel good. You know, back in the day, I was drinking and doing a lot of recreational drugs and just, I was always like this. I was like, oh man, I always feel so bad. I thought I felt good then. I didn't realize what it felt like to feel good, right? Your health is the most important investment you will ever make in your life. You only have one body. I see people who have gone through their life and made lots of money just to get to the end of their life and have to take all the money that they made and put it right back in their health. So I think JMP, if you feel good eating that, that's good, but I feel like that's too low energy. I feel like if you're eating that way, that's how I would eat if I was trying to strip down and get to super low body fat. And that would be starving myself. If I eat that way, I would starve. So I don't think it's enough food, personally. I think adding a whole grain toast to the egg, and I think adding like banana and apple and maybe some rice for the lunch, very little bit with the veg, and then ending the day, if you want to pull back on the carbs at the end of the day, cool. That's kind of how I would do it. But that's just my opinion. But then again, JMP, I don't know your day, right? I don't know if you are getting up at super early in the morning to do cardio. I was never a breakfast person. Yeah, so I get that. So here's the thing. I get that you used to be large, JMP. So, and you don't want to be bigger again. But here's the thing. That's a spectrum. So here's the thing. If you want to be leaner, you will be leaner eating a little bit more food than you will be starving, and you'll be healthier. And what I mean by that is, how do I say this? If you wake up in the morning and you're not hungry, it means there's still blood sugar in your body. So if you're going to go to the gym first thing in the morning, then cool, eat a big meal, go to sleep, wake up, go train. But that big meal has been digested, and then you can train first thing in the morning. Me, I don't know if I would like that, right? I would prefer a different eating style to where I put nutritionally dense, calorically low foods. I would eat a little bit more food and then see if my appetite increases. Because if you notice your appetite is increasing and your clothes fit better, and don't pay attention to the scale. Look at the scale and understand it, but don't think the scale is everything. Pay attention to how your body is fitting in clothes, right? Look at yourself in the mirror. Do what I do. See all those pictures I went through earlier? Take pictures of yourself in different lighting and understand how you look. And then understand when you eat foods, does it make me feel good or bad? Put that into a nutrition journal. And then it's just about energy maintenance. You first have to make sure that the food that you put in, your body will accept. Hopefully you like most of the foods. Then it's just a matter of portion control. But there's no magic food that just does it. I mean, there's nutrients that does it, right? Like protein, obviously. But if you're eating a lot more carbs and you're not cutting, then technically you can eat more protein. You can eat less protein when you're eating more carbs. And when you're eating less carbs, that's when you eat more protein, right? And keep the fats kind of the same because fats cost the most to consume. There we go. Come here. Come here. That's my water. Come here. Look at these guys. Meow. What you doing, buddy? Hey, possum. Are y'all thirsty? Come here. Come here. Hey, buddy. Hey. There's some fresh water. If y'all are hungry, I don't even know if y'all want any water. You thirsty at all? A little bit? Not really. A little bit. Yeah, water dishes in the front yard. Lovely little kitties, yeah. Well, as with most men, I do like my kitties around. Just playing. Lego builds with Westside. Hey, what's up, Lego? What is up? Road to 10% body fat. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Back at it. Road to 10% body fat. Hi, Lego Westside. Definitely getting leaner. And I tell this to people all the time. I find that I'm down to 15.5% according to me getting measured and taped earlier. We're down from 80. Yeah, I mean, just go by how you feel. Look, too much food is going to make you get larger again. However, I don't think you're eating enough food for someone. And it depends on the size of the chicken, how many eggs and stuff. The food choices are good, but here's also something you have to remember. When you start eating whole foods, they naturally have less calories and less salt in it. So when you start eating cleaner, if you're used to, if someone, man, what is this? Got some spotches on here. Anyways, if you're someone who is, how do I say this? If you're someone who is used to eating a lot of processed food with salt, and then you start eating clean food, you're gonna feel like doo-doo because you have dramatically withheld the amount of salt. So don't do that. All right, now guys, we go right through here. There's some decent lighting. I like that look. We'll see how we feel, see how we look. Road to 10%. Road to 10%. There we go. A little bit there. But that's just part of the process. Is there a squirrel over there? I will say this. You'll be amazed at what a little bit of consistency will do. A wee bit of consistency, you'll be amazed. So, got a little bit of carb in me now. Feeling better, right? Now the question is, we go back to the gym, what about it earlier? The question is, what to do to maintain the amount of muscle? In a deficit, on the way to 10%. Now, if I go train, the question is, based on what I ate and how I feel, I can always do aerobics, right, at a steady pace just to burn fat, or I can lift weights to promote hypertrophy, right? We have 11 votes, 64% lean. This is what I'm getting at. Everybody wants to get leaner. And I've noticed that, like, getting leaner is not easy, right? But it's simple. Now, we have 11 votes, 4 thumbs ups. You guys rock. So for everybody who came to the chat, it is now time for me to move on. We did 76 minutes of stream, but now I got to go do a couple things. So thanks for you guys. I appreciate all of you. I love it when you guys come into these chats. Thank you, JMP. Thank you, everyone. And please, feel free to go through my videos. Spam. I talk about a lot of stuff. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. Because I'm getting down to 10% body fat, that's something that's going to take up a lot of my time. And it's a goal. But more than just reaching the 10% body fat, it's just the process of reaching a goal and then setting the goals and then doing it. I want to encourage you guys that any goal that you are trying to achieve, set the pieces in place and just chip away at it. And the next thing you know, you're going to be at the top of your circle. You will. You just have to go. Well, thank you, JMP. Well, I'm glad. So, JMP, I may start a community with called Lean Body Habits. I've got one I'm working on, Lean Body Habits or Confidence Conditioning. If you're looking for someone who can encourage you and keep you feeling good and poke these questions in here, just stay tuned. It'll all come to fruition. You guys stay good. Your favorite coach and entrepreneur, Coach Chris. God bless.